Ladies and gentlemen, Primetime CP23 here, back with another video. Today, we've got the first podcast in well over a year. I've been trying to get this man to come on the podcast for a long time. We finally got him. This is Neon Velocity, a friend of mine.
What's up?
I actually met you, what, 3-4 years ago? Maybe not quite that long. And you're streaming Diablo 3 at the time.
Yep,
So,
2017. 2017, probably around like this time of the year, I think it
yeah.
was. Yeah, so it's been a long time, and we've been talking about doing this for probably ever since then.
Yeah, pretty much ever since, because I pretty much had just started my YouTube channel when we met, and then, yeah, just had never worked out.
No, I think you were dabbling, trying to get your feet wet, and I was already streaming and had a few people, and we just kind of clicked.
Yeah.
It was easy. Yeah. And then I fell off the map of Diablo.
Yeah, funny thing, that tends to happen when you're dealing with a, what, 7-year-old game now? I think 7.
7 years old.
Yeah, May of
and
2012, right?
Yep, and then yeah, and nothing to retain you other than a new season that never changes. So
yeah. So, I mean, I guess that's just kind of what happens. People fall off. People start doing Gears of War content, I guess.
I moved back to my roots.
Well,
although I was more successful with Diablo.
Well, so let's really go back to your roots here. So, what was probably the first video game you ever played?
First video game I ever played was probably Sonic back on the Sega Genesis. That's and Power Rangers.
Sonic and Power Rangers.
Sonic and Power Rangers, and then it moved into Nintendo 64, NBA Courtside with Kobe Bryant, and after that, eventually got into Halo on the Xbox One, or I'm sorry, on the Xbox, and then Xbox 360 with Gears of War.
Xbox.
Yeah, the original Xbox One. Yeah. And then Gears of War with the 360 and Call of Duty, and then, but I should say Counter-Strike and Diablo 2, Counter-Strike 1.3 back in the early 2000s when I was like 10 or 12, 13 years old. I played that. Like, I was more of a PC gamer. Up until the Xbox 360 came out, and then after that, I was like, I gotta play the 360, and so that's how it started.
Yeah, that's very, very different from me, but
well, what did you start with then?
I started with we had a NES when I was too young to remember, and then we got a N64, and like a year later, I got my PlayStation 1, and I was pretty much PlayStation until 2012. And then once 2012 rolled around, I moved to Arkansas. I met my current group of friends. They got me into Halo, and I had to get a 360. So I started, so just for reference, I started in Halo when Halo 4 dropped. That's why I'm a Halo 4 kid.
No wonder you missed out on the glory of Halo 2.
Bro, literally everybody I tell that I'm a Halo 4 kid, they're like, I'm sorry.
And I'm going to say something. I love 343, and I think that they're doing the best that they can, but you can't recapture the 2000 and, what timeline? 2004, 2007, and then early up to about 2009, and then it kind of fell off because I think that's what Halo 4 came out around 2011. Right?
I believe 2010 was Reach, and 4 was November of 2012.
Okay, so a few years off, but Halo 4 was not that's actually when I fell off the game. Like,
yeah,
I don't like all the. It's like everybody now with Call of Duty, go back to the roots, and then it's like, oh, it's not recapturing because you implemented all these things that don't hold my attention. So yeah, I'm sorry.
Yeah, see the sprinting and uh, armor abilities, things like that. Those never really bothered me because I was never a hardcore Halo 2 kid. So,
Well,
and
you know,
in 2012, when that's the first one that you play, in 2012 you expect a shooter to have sprint. So it never bothered me.
well, I think they were probably working on something like that in Halo 3 and then those afterwards because, Jetpack came. But in Halo
Mm-hmm.
3, you had the bubble shield, and that was like the first thing that really started changing some of the gameplay without like
Yeah.
breaking the core formula.
Yeah,
But I
bubble
think the other
shield,
part,
regen, power drain.
yeah, I think, and that stuff was fine because it added a different wrinkle. But Sprint and Halo just kind of always felt weird to me, and I'm obviously more used to it. But I I could sit back here and say I still play Master Chief Collection today, and I love it, and I have no issues playing it. But if you were to say, "Hey Matt, hey Neon, whatever you want to call me, go play Halo 5," I'm gonna be like, "Yeah, I'm good. No, I'm not gonna do that." Or if they added Halo 4 to the Master Chief Collection, which they probably will one day, it just kind of seems like the trend that they're doing. But I probably would. Oh, I'm sorry. Halo 4 is already in the game, and I'd
Yeah.
veto it. I forgot. Duh. Yeah, it's because I don't actually have it installed because I was like, I don't ever want to play Halo 4. I'll play the campaign
Yeah.
for achievements, but I don't. I haven't. Nah, I have no interest in playing the multiplayer of Halo 4.
Yeah. And
So,
see, because of my history of being a Halo 4 kid, Halo 4 is my best game by far. Now, just from sheer amounts of playing it, like especially LAN nights, game nights and stuff, I'm not terrible at Halo 3.
well,
But,
speaking of LAN nights, I saw the video you had.
Yeah.
Insert promotion here. About you playing Halo 3 with your LAN party at your shop, and that was pretty fun to watch. I was actually kind of cool to go back to something that you probably didn't get to ever experience because you didn't start playing until Halo 4, and being able to live that was probably like I didn't get you didn't get to really see the other people's reactions, but I would assume that everybody was like really just like hyped about having that ability to go back in time and play something that's legacy like that.
Yeah,
in a LAN environment.
Yeah, see, my group of friends, I met them in the summer of 2012 by starting to go to some of their LAN nights when they would LAN Halo 3. And I had a lot of fun with that. And that's when I was like, well, if I'm going to be going to these things, I want to be good at the game. So I bought a 360. I started playing Halo 3. And then right then is when Halo 4 came out. And I was instantly, top 2 best in my group at Halo 4. But nobody cares about Halo 4. And actually, we couldn't even do Halo 4 LAN nights because by then they had discovered that they could make people play online if they made it so that every system had to be updated to the exact same title update. Yep. So, since I was playing on my Xbox, which was updated to the current title update, but nobody else was on the current title update, so we couldn't play Halo.
You never wanted to delete that title update, or was that did it like? Obviously, I never played LAN games at that point, and I played Halo 4. But couldn't you have deleted that by chance?
I think if you deleted it, it deleted your profile and everything. I don't know for positive. I don't know.
That would be annoying. That makes sense.
I don't know.
That makes sense. But the 360 was actually kind of complicated in that storage memory area, so that's why I was asking.
Yeah, it wasn't very streamlined, but
it's interesting. This is kind of a spin-off here, but when they introduced the USB, you can play games through your USB. Now remember, games today are like 100 gigs, if not 30 gigs minimum at this point. But back then, it's like you could have a full-blown game. Like I think Halo was probably barely 10 gigs, Halo 4 at least.
Yeah.
And you could literally just plug that in on a 32 gigabyte stick and plug it into your Xbox 360. But at one point, and when it first came out, everybody was playing certain games like Crackdown 2. You could literally like download it online on a website,
Mm-hmm.
plug it into the US or hook it up to your computer, download it on the computer, use this program. It's like making a USB install for your Windows 10 operating system or whatever operating system you use, and then plug it into your Xbox. So you can play the game for free. I was
Yeah.
like, what? What were they thinking back then? They trying to do something new and just completely failed. So I'm sure
Yeah.
that's.
And it led to a bunch of people pirating their games.
I mean, I was a young kid, didn't have a job, so
Yeah.
sorry. I'm probably a bad guy now. But
Just remember, don't incriminate yourself.
I never said what console.
Right.
Serial code and all serial number and all of that. And if you want it by this point, good luck.
Right.
There's no tracking back then.
No. No. But well, so let's get a little bit back on track here. So you mentioned in Gears content that you were kind of going back to your roots with it. So what made you start doing Gears content years ago? Because I've seen your old channel that did have Gears content on it, and then now you're starting this new channel with Gears content.
So great question. So I actually I'll try to go through this as quick as possible, but I'll start back with when Gears of War 1 first launched. When Gears of War 1 first launched
It was a
in
launch
2006.
title for the 360, right?
No, actually, I think it came out a little bit after. So
okay.
I think the Xbox 360 came out in 2005, and then the Gears of War came out in 2006. So it was a little delayed. Like there was a delay between Halo 2 and then Gears of War. So yeah, there was a delay. Actually, I know there was a delay because I actually was playing the 360 and they finally were like, oh, you can play Halo 2. But back on that is when they first came out, I was like addicted to watching people like record with their cell phones and upload it to YouTube. Like, this is the early stages of YouTube really starting to grow and gaming becoming what it is now today, more social media based, and not just like, here's your console, here's your people, good luck. And I would just got addicted to it. And I was like trying to make my own little things, recording it. Some other stuff I've never talked about to you or anybody is that actually at one point, one of the people I still play with, we actually were setting up a forum trying to like run I wouldn't say a clan, but an organization, a group of gamers for Gears of War and Halo. And I met tons of great people. And I was in high school at this time and, just trying to figure it out. And then when Gears of War 2 came, when the game first launched, I was there midnight, skipped school. I mean, who didn't do that for games you love? I mean, people still do that today, so whatever. And that's when Gears 2 actually started getting competitive because they started introducing. Actually, sorry, back that up. Is Gears of War 1 went MLG, but then it didn't last long because it like they couldn't figure out weapon settings and there was no customization. Like there was you couldn't do all that. Then Gears 2 came out. And it did okay, but it wasn't like pro circuit. It wasn't MLG. There was no esports. But when Gears 3 launched, that's when like everything changed. They started focusing on esports. They were trying to get it back on the circuit. I don't think it actually went MLG, but I knew that I was actually a very good player because Gears of War is so hard. Like if I just give the game and say, "Hey, come play with me," and you've never played it, you're most likely not going to like it. So it's very hard. The skill curve is super intense. So I hope that what they're doing, and we'll discuss this later, in Gears 5 will change. But I had like that upper hand advantage where I was like, I'm not a bad player. I could play this. I could stream this. I have a good squad of, 4 or 5 people constantly always rotating. So I was streaming on Justin.tv, and then when the merger happened with Twitch, streaming on Twitch. But the problem with Gears of War 3 is that it was competing with games like Counter-Strike and League of Legends and World of Warcraft and Halo, Halo 4 and all the sports games. And it's kind of the similar trend, except now you have like Fortnite, Apex Legends, and those type of games, like the battle royale games, taking over the industry. So
Mm-hmm.
it actually lost its viewership and everything like that. So it kind of came hard to stream. And then by that point is, if you were dominant in the game and you were a clan base, you pulled viewers. And so, being younger and trying to focus on life and try to, now I'm in college or going into college, I was like, I need to probably like resettle. But here we are. Gears of War 4 happened, and I was super hyped when Gears 4 came out, but it had the same issues that the other games had, where it just the game couldn't grow. They like Epic Games through Gears 1 through Judgment, the game couldn't grow because like it was only for those that were dominant at the game, and
Mm-hmm.
they would be paired up against people that haven't ever played, and they would just destroy them. And I actually did an analysis and a video over this recently. Is that Lee Perry, who was the multiplayer designer from Gears 1 to I think Judgment, or at least Gears of War 3, said that 90% of players that didn't get a kill in their first match in Gears of War never played a second one.
Mm-hmm.
And so when you compare that to games like Call of Duty and Halo, and then how we met in Diablo, you don't have to really worry about that because you're eventually going to get something. You're going to get a kill. It's just a matter of when, because it's you can get on a Banshee or use a noob tube and something crazy. But in Gears, you don't really have that. So now the reason that I'm getting back into Gears and trying to go back to my roots is because I'm actually trying to advocate for growth in the game that I love, because it's always been like flatlined for the last few years. Like nothing's really changing, and they've been playing it safe, and I'm all for it because it's a newer studio. They've only produced one Gears of War title that wasn't a remastered or Ultimate Edition, whatever you want to call it. And so now they're actually stepping outside their box. But what's happening is the older veterans of Gears of War, players like myself, not me really in this group, but I'm saying those that have played for, at least since Gears 2, are like, oh, I don't like the direction. They're changing too much. And I'm like, guys, like, games evolve over time. Like, this is actually a good thing, and let them make those changes. And, they're adding all the customization, not just to the actual like game itself, but all the custom options in the menu for those like MLG title or MLG game scrimmages and all those things. Like, you can actually have more control. So I'm excited to see what they're doing with Gears 5. So that's why when it got announced last year, I was like, I gotta hype this up. I gotta go back, because like I don't want to see the franchise go downhill. Now I know it's a AAA title, but it's not a very easy title to get into. So that's kind of why high level, but some detail.
Yeah, see, it's actually kind of similar to how Halo was, because you had Halo 1, 2, 3 going up, and then Reach, it kind of flattened out, and then Halo 4 came and the community completely disappeared. Master Chief Collection has all this hype, it bombs, nobody plays it, which we can talk about the launch of Master Chief Collection later, but don't distract me right now.
I was there with you, but yeah, let's stay on topic.
And then Halo 5 comes out, and love the game or hate the game, at least 343 is starting to try and push the competitive scene in a way that it's kind of going back on a small incline. And now we're coming in, then they fix Master Chief Collection, more or less.
They've done that Master Chief Collection is beyond fix, and I think it's just going to get better with the new update that they're pushing with PC. So
coming out with PC, just so many good things coming. And then we have Halo Infinite coming out. And Halo Infinite is a chance for the series to become as big or bigger than it ever was. And and from what it sounds like, granted, I'm not as close with the Gears of War community, not a huge fan of the games. The biggest exposure that I have to Gears of War is I'm a big fan of the sorry, brain fart. I'm a huge fan of the Optic Gaming brand, and of course their Gears of War team wins everything.
Yep. Yeah, they don't ever lose.
Yeah,
They don't.
they're like, oh no, we lost 2 maps in this entire tournament. Better practice more.
Yeah, they I don't know how many they've won in a row. I think it's them that's. See, it's actually funny you say that because you follow Optic Gaming and you want to, and so your exposure to Gears of War is actually through the esports side of the equation, right? So it's funny you say that because my exposure is through my experience, but actually esports, in my opinion, so here's where my conflict is. Esports is what exposed you to Gears 5, right?
Yeah.
Or Gears of War, I should say, not Gears 5, but Gears of War in general. Whereas my issue with the game is it's not retaining people. It's not bringing in new people. So is it because they focused on esports? And so people are like, oh, I see. It's like this, you know? So I find that interesting that esports brought you into it, but I actually say the opposite, that esports is, I think, kind of problematic for the game. Well, but that doesn't mean I'm right either.
Yeah, I mean, for most games, yeah, an esport is probably a positive thing. With Gears, I don't know that it's a positive thing because you have these guys literally screaming at each other after every kill and just being so incredibly toxic and people cheering it on. Now, keep in mind, it is funny sometimes. But
absolutely,
if you're one of the ones getting literally screamed at because you screwed up and missed a kill, you know, is that fun? Not really.
Gears of War is one of the most toxic communities, and I hate saying that because that's another reason for why I'm kind of doing what I'm doing, because I'm not what I was when I was younger. You know, if I would be the guy yelling at you on the microphone, like, what are you doing? What are you doing? Like, just getting super animated and hyped up and just getting pissed, quite honestly, because I expected, you know, people to play on my level. But I also know that's a maturity thing. The other part of that is, you know, it's the demographic, and the game is actually more popular, I think, and now sales numbers and all that, I'm not talking that. I'm just talking about what you see based off gamer tags and languages spoken in the game, is that Mexico is like the biggest backing for Gears of War. And I'm not saying that Mexico brings rage and violence. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying I find it very interesting that it's not a North America game. Well, it's North America, but it's not a United States game. It's actually backed more by people in Mexico and that community down there.
Yeah, a lot of the...
So that's the other problem with this, is the community and how it was fed. Is back in Gears 1, if you didn't play Gears 1, literally, in the in-game lobby, before the match started, you could pick a side. You could pick if you're going to play on the COG side, or if you're going to play on the Locust side, and you would have to wait until at least both teams had 3 to 6 players. Or, I'm sorry, was it 2, 3, 4, 8 players? So it had to have 6 to 8 players minimum before you could start the match. And in that time, party chat in Xbox Live wasn't introduced. It was only voice chat and then in-game chat, like voice messages. And everybody was talking hardcore smack in those lobbies. I actually wish games would force you to remove party chat and get back in those lobbies where you're actually talking to people. I think that would actually bring all the games back. Because, you know, it's like same thing with Call of Duty, same thing with Halo. People are yelling, screaming, having a good time, calling each other out. The smack talk is fun, but in Gears of War, it's like, it's not smack talk. It's like just downright, like, kind of like murder.
Yeah, verbally assaulting people.
Yeah, and aggression, some strong aggression, which is it's one of the only games that has that. Honestly, so I don't know it's necessarily a bad thing, but it can scare people away too. So
yeah, it's definitely gonna scare, you know, 14-year-old kids who are, you know, phenoms at the game, and their parents won't let them go to esports events because it's a bunch of grown-ass men yelling at each other at the top of their lungs and saying that they're going to murder their children and stuff.
Literally, they do say that. And I would like to say no, they don't, but yeah, it's a little. There's a lot of rage in Gears, and rightfully so. But that's a lot of that rage is because of poor netcode, and that's another separate issue. I I don't play it competitively.
Video games
Yeah,
don't cause violence. Lag does.
yeah, yeah. Lag is why I died, not because of my skill.
Yeah, of course.
But I think that Gears 5 is riding the ship, and I think that they're playing a little bit more of a dangerous game and not playing it safe. And hopefully that with Game Pass and having the Ultimate Edition of game, the $80 version of the game thrown into Game Pass, and everything else that's coming along with it, all the promotions and hyping, and they're marketing with the Terminator movie. Come on, like Terminator. It's insane.
I didn't understand that at all when I first saw it. And then I'm like, oh wait, there's a Terminator movie coming out. Okay, that kind of makes sense.
In Gears 4, they introduced DBs, which are obviously basically AI robots designed by one of the main characters from the franchise, Damon Baird. And I'm not going to go into a lot of detail, but it kind of makes sense because they probably already have the assets in, and then you're going to hype up a movie Terminator. It's kind of smart, people love Terminator. They're probably focusing in on an older age group, trying to retain older people to play the game. And I mean, marketing's marketing, right? It's kind of genius if you think about it. I mean, Terminator gets like, oh, I should probably go see it. My favorite game, or the game I played showing Terminator. Yeah. And everybody loves, well, not everybody, but a lot of people like the Terminator movies. Maybe not the new ones, but
Yeah.
But in Gears 4, they actually marketed with Run the. I didn't even know who they were. You know who they are?
I'm sorry, you said Run the.
Is it Run the Jewels? Is that who they are?
I don't know.
I think that's who they are. Yeah, Run the Jewels. That's a music hip hop band. It's a band, like two guys, and like they're rap with like a kind of like electronic feel vibe, and they actually introduced those two guys in the game as characters with like their own lines. And then in Gears of War 3, they had Ice-T. Everybody knows Ice-T.
Okay.
He played a character in Gears of War 3, so like they have marketed with some big name, whether it was an artist or now a movie. They have done some type of marketing material since Gears 3 with big name people. So it's like it's got the backing, it just doesn't have retention.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's kind of why I'm advocating. I'm just hoping that Gears 5 does what Halo Infinite should do: go back upwards, take over. Because I don't really think that there's been a game since the generation that we're in now. I'll still call it the new generation, even though the new generation is starting pretty much like next year.
I'm with you.
I don't think any game, even a Call of Duty game, none of those have the same retention and the same value of fun like they did when 10 years ago.
Yeah, see, Halo 5 went in the right direction. Halo 5, in my opinion, got better as it went along, which is a good thing, especially when you're talking about trying to trend back upwards like Halo is trying to do. Halo 5 added so much, and again, love the game or hate the game, I think Halo at least is moving in the right direction. And I think that from what I'm seeing, it seems like Gears is kind of moving in that same direction. I mean, it's another game similar to Halo in the fact that it's always been, one of the key Xbox titles,
Well, absolutely. Something else that, I just thought about this while you were talking about, Halo 5 going in the right direction is, or love it or hate it. Something to think about is both of these franchises went through a major shift of new developers midway through their cycles. Bungie decided, you know what? I'm done. I don't want to make Halo anymore. I'm over it. I want to go make Destiny. And I got no words for Destiny.
Destiny is a whole other topic, kind of like when we talked about Master Chief Collection. It's a
Yeah,
whole other thing.
and Bungie did all things right, probably until, in my opinion, Reach, but Reach was still enjoyable.
Mm-hmm.
And then, I mean, I'm saying probably up until Reach. I'm not saying that Reach was like, I think Reach was like maybe it wasn't the one that retained me. I can tell you that, but
Yeah.
up until at least Halo 3 and then ODST and Reach were probably like I'm running out of ideas type thing. I don't know what they were doing. But you know, Halo 4 was the first game, and it was a new trilogy. You know,
Mm-hmm.
no one expected that to happen, a trilogy, because everybody thought Chief was dead at the end of 3.
Yeah.
I did. Hell, I cry. And so, you know, and then in Gears, and then with the Epic Games, now they got Fortnite, and Fortnite was in development when Gears 3 started.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you could see what happened there is, well, you know, we made Gears 3 and then we cash grabbed with Gears of War Judgment, which was trash. Kind of like in my opinion, it was the Halo 4 of the franchise. And then they sold all, just randomly one day said, all right, we're going to sell it to Microsoft. And then, so both of these franchises had to basically kind of like soft reboot in the middle of now in the middle of all the games that are being made. So I think both of them are going upwards, and then Infinite incorporating some of the Halo 3 vibes and especially the musical cues kind of gives you an idea of what they're trying to do.
Yeah. Yeah. I love Halo. I can't help it. I love it.
Yep.
But
yep.
Well, so let's talk a little more about Gears 5. I mean, what are you thinking so far?
I have a lot of thoughts because there's still tons of information that's not known. But I've been digging through user videos for people that have played at the Microsoft stores. I've been kind of, you know, reaching out, looking around on Instagram and YouTube and some of the other big name players in the game that may not be streamers or anything like that, but just veteran players are trying to get the vibe on it. I'll break it down into probably like 3 categories, and I'm going to keep it really simple for you. That way we can keep rolling. But you know, the marketing side of the equation, not many people are liking it, and I think it's ridiculous. Like, I think that the marketing that they've done is phenomenal. It's a change of this. It like I was saying, is I'm advocating change. I hate saying that because it sounds like I'm some type of like hoorah guy, but that's not me. The game needed it, and so a lot of people are not liking that, and veteran players are not going to like it. So that's one thing. Then if you move it into gameplay, now there's not much gameplay, and most of the people that have played this game escape the new game mode, which looks fairly fun. It's got a map builder, not exactly like Forge, but it's a map builder, so people will have fun. But they made some fundamental changes that are actually kind of interesting. So in Gears of War, you know, if you take damage, your screen in the middle, the Crimson Omen starts showing up. It goes from a soft red to dark red as you're about to die, where now they've done this like blur effect where you have the Crimson Omen still, or some type of design. I'm still trying to figure out what it is. Maybe the Locust logo. I'm not really sure what it is. And then they have like this blur effect. So it's like you can't see everything on the outside of what your eyes would be on. So like your center screen is very clear because that's like where your eyes are focused on. But everything to the far right of it is all blurred out. And so I've been reading comments on Reddit, and they're like, change this now. And I'm like, what's the problem? Like, they're doing something different. Obviously they've done like a bunch of user feedback and testing. They're not going to implement a major change like that overnight and just say, well, that's what I wanted to do, so good luck. I don't think they're going to do that without some type of feedback from esports, probably behind the scenes, since they have, you know, the new esports deal with MLG, I think, right? Is it MLG on TBS? Who is that?
MLG has
what is that? It's not
MLG. Gears, so I don't know.
It's another one on TBS.
think
Let me look that up. I think it's
ESL.
E-League. Sorry, it's called the E-League.
Oh, okay. They have something like E League.
Yeah, they signed with E-League, so that's another boost, for them, and it's going to be on national TV. So there's
Mm-hmm.
that. So you got marketing. The veterans are like, whatever. Some people like it. I personally love it. It's all tying in together. It's all bound by blood or bound by friendship. It's all something's going to radically change in the campaign, and that's what that's focusing in on.
Mm-hmm.
Escape looks fun. They're making tons of quality of life changes, which I'm actually still trying to dig through all those. There's like colorblind mode, which was never done. Um, uh, they've added complete control mapping in. So like if you're playing controller, you can change your controls to whatever you want if you want to change those. Whereas before that was not there. I think I have about 20 features. They're also the other thing that I really want to indicate that's super important to me is that they're adding damage numbers and hit markers in the game. Like what you have in Halo and
Mm-hmm.
especially Call of Duty or the Division or something like that, or Destiny. I think that's probably the best quality of life change they could have possibly done, and adding in-game ribbons to the game. So like every time you get like a double kill or triple kill, the end-game ribbon should pop up. Now, whether that happens in multiplayer, I don't know, but because multiplayer hasn't been shown, you've only seen escape. So I think the core is kind of split on what they like and what they don't like. But I think after a few games, everybody's just gonna hush up and accept it for what it is, and it's gonna move and be in a good direction.
Yeah.
I think that's what I'm hoping for the game at least. So I think it's on the right path. I don't think that there really is anything that has been highly suspect at this point. I mean, the trailers are phenomenal. It's just, can they introduce things to hook you like every other game does now? And that's my concern. Can they hook it? Can they hook you, I should say?
So 2 questions. Number 1, why did they bring WWE wrestlers to play it at E3? Like, were there really no streamers, no esports, no Gears esports players available? Nothing.
Here's my mentality on that. If you play Gears of War, you know that everybody in Gears of War, big bulk man or super strong woman. I think that's what they were going for. I don't know. I don't know.
Trying to appeal to the
I will say this.
builders.
They should probably never play the game again. That's that's the and that's a terrible way to illustrate your game. Like are you trying to say like, oh, I can go get a professional wrestler off the screen or off the street or out of the ring and have him come play this game and he's gonna have a good time. So if he has a good time, you're gonna have a good time. So they're trying to maybe like get influencers. I don't know.
I don't know. I mean, it kind of follows the trend with what a lot of these companies have been doing. We'll have, like, I think when Call of Duty came out, like Post Malone and like some basketball players were playing with some of the streamers, and
they still do that. Patrick Mahomes from the quarterback for the Kansas City Chiefs already knew what the new Call of Duty was before all the main players would. They actually invited NFL players to come play the game, literally like 6 months ago. It felt like.
Yeah.
I think it's just a way to say, well, they got millions of views and millions of followers. Let's just find the marketing piece and let's get them incorporated somehow. Cyberpunk did it
with Keanu Reeves.
Yeah, that was phenomenal, and all this. And I actually read the thing about like how they had to hide him from being like he had no idea what the reaction was gonna be, because he didn't actually show up to the Microsoft studio until that day. That's how under wraps it was. No one knew. They had code names for him.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. So that was your first question.
Yeah. So my next question is, do we see a battle royale in Gears 5?
If they were smart, okay. So
I just wanted to see your eyes roll into the back of your head.
Number one is they should have done this with Halo or Gears, or merged the two together a long time ago. just to hold people over, because everybody knew that Gears 5 was at least a year away, and everybody knew that Halo Infinite was probably not going to line up with the 2019 release because Gears 5 took the show last year.
Yeah.
And so they should have had something like that to hold you over and kind of build up more hype and interest. I mean, I follow a million people on Twitter that say if you give up, like, seriously, like, protesting to have it, and then 343 says, well, the only BR we care about is the battle rifle. I don't. Okay, whatever. You're a liar.
Yeah.
And then Gears of War, it has a lot of the foundation to be able to do it, but they're not going to follow the trend. And I think that's not because of the coalition. I think that's because of Microsoft. Yeah. Honestly, I truly think that's why. Now, if you were to say it's a free-to-play game with microtransactions and you follow the formula for Fortnite or Apex Legends, it's going to be a top game. Doesn't matter how you build it. It's going to be a top game.
Yeah.
Especially when you're backed by a big publisher like Microsoft.
Yeah, if you have the money and the resources to make a game that feels good and it's free to play with microtransactions, it's going to be popular.
It's a no-brainer. I don't know why this is so hard, because a lot of people don't like Fortnite because of the building. A lot of people don't like Apex Legends because it's EA. You bring in a new third one, and PUBG is not what it was. They have a massive universe to explore with Sarah, which is like the planet Earth, and so I don't know why they haven't. But I did actually read somewhere that, and I take it very lightly. I don't think there's any truth to it, but someone said that they overheard while at E3 during the Xbox conference, probably in the back, that apparently there might be a merge of the Halo and Gears of War Battle Royale being worked on that could come out sometime next year. So if that happens, I'm going to go find that post on Reddit and say, I love you. and then we can mark it in this video to let everybody know it was here where we found that from. We'll say we were the source.
Yeah, of course. No, I mean, I don't like Battle Royales. I don't get it. But that being said, a Halo BR could be kind of cool. Like, it would kind of make sense. Like,
yeah, come in from a drop pod. And you're
come
on
in
the
as
map.
an ODST from a drop pod. Have either the Covenant or the Flood or somebody be the outside of the map that shrinks. It'd be kind of cool. Like, you got all those vehicles.
You can make a big bubble shield is what's holding them back. They can't move, and then they just chief or somebody throws down another bubble shield as the circle keeps shrinking.
Yeah.
There you go. $1 million idea.
Yeah, exactly. Standalone, completely separate from any other game. Maybe throw it in Master Chief Collection's client. I don't care.
Or a quick access link within Master Chief Collection.
Yeah, like
this, and it opens up the application.
Like, I can't imagine that would take too terribly long to code.
I don't know. But given they should know everything, especially 343, given the fact that they've rewritten probably like 8 engines now. So I don't see how this could be a problem. And they're building a new one. So there you go. You can merge it with that with Slip Space engine. Happy days for Halo or Gears or whatever. It doesn't matter. It makes me sad that it hasn't been done, but I actually enjoy Battle Royale. I prefer Battle Royale. I'm actually an advocate for either game to get it, but it's not going to happen, I don't think. At least not until after these, Gears 5 and Halo Infinite come out.
Yeah. See, I'm surprised more companies are waiting until like their major release to do a Battle Royale. I'm surprised more companies aren't doing things like Apex Legends, which my understanding is that it's in the Titanfall universe, but completely separate from the games. So, like, I don't understand why more companies aren't doing that kind of thing, where it's, kind of a standalone experience.
The best thing that Apex Legends did was dropped out of nowhere with very little hints and feedback that it was, or details that it was coming out.
I never
people
heard of it until it was out and
people
all the streamers were playing it, and it was like the biggest game on my Twitter feed. And
the only downfall to that process is they paid them to promote it up
yeah,
at the front, but I know for a fact that is pennies compared to what they have probably made now.
mm-hmm.
So and it's getting a free pass. It's not being like, it is critical, like assessment and judgment that why haven't these things been fixed, and it's been out for what, 4 months now. But for the most part, it actually felt nice because it didn't have a building. If you compared that to Call of Duty 4 Battle Royale,
Mm-hmm.
it's, in my opinion, it's much better than COD 4.
Yeah.
COD 4's Battle Royale, if it's not that fun.
Yeah.
It's okay.
I think I've played 3 games of Blackout, but keep in mind I've also only played like 8 games of Black Ops 4. So
Yeah. See,
I actually got it on PC instead of on console because a friend of mine had been begging me to play it with him, and so he bought it for me on PC. And I think I've played 2 games with him.
well, that's another thing that makes, not trying to get too off topic, but it's kind of it's all kind of merging in, is with Microsoft's logic that PC gaming matters, which obviously it does. I'm not doubting it. I mean, I have played, like, Diablo, how we met again, that's how we met. And
Mm-hmm.
I would only play Diablo, and now I do have it on Xbox, but I would really only want to play it hardcore on the PC.
Yeah.
But crossplay for for Blackout would have been the best thing they could have done, because now you're getting all the BattleNet users playing with all the users from PS4 and
Mm-hmm.
Xbox, whereas Fortnite has it, and Apex Legend is, I think they're working on it, and Microsoft has already got the platform to incorporate that if they so choose. Now they're operating on Steam, going to be, Master Chief's coming there, and then Gears 5 will too. So now you're pulling from Game Pass, you're pulling from regular buyers of the game, you're pulling from PC players, and now you're also pulling from Steam players.
Mm-hmm.
What's the problem? I don't know. Maybe I'm not logical.
Random question. You mentioned this just in passing just now, and my friend Jake and I, the same guy that I was talking about that bought me Black Ops 4.
Mm-hmm.
So when Master Chief Collection comes to PC, our understanding of it is that it's coming to Steam, that it's going to be on Steam, but it's also going to be in a Game Pass game for PC. So is it going to be available on both, or is it only going to be available on the Xbox client on a PC?
So I don't really
figure that out. I
don't think they have publicly announced how it's going to work, but here's my assumption based off using and playing Halo 2 Vista.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, yeah, showing my age there. Yep.
Yeah.
And
God, Vista.
yeah, one of the worst operating systems. Thanks, Steve Ballmer. Here, honestly, so here's what I think is going to happen. I think this applies to Gears 5. So this is truly what I believe is going to happen. You can use your Game Pass on PC, or you can buy it outright through the Microsoft Store. However you want to do it, right? That's easy. You got that figured out. But then on the PC, when you log into like Steam and you're using your Steam account to buy the game, and you're not using Game Pass, I think what they're going to do is, once you log into the game, they're going to have a way to authenticate your Xbox Live credentials, but you're going to be playing through their servers.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's just going to be a linking your account, sort of. So I don't know if you actually know this, but you can link your Xbox Live account to your Discord.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's exactly how it's going to be. You're going to link your account to Steam. That's what I think is going to happen. And so everybody will then be able to play together, and then you can enable probably with like a checkbox. Do you want to play with PC players or not?
Yeah. I mean, it makes sense.
I don't think there's they should make it any more confusing than just type in your Microsoft account and password, log in, and here you go.
And I mean, the big question is that you will understand why I'm concerned about this. When I play MCC on my PC, will my achievements transfer over? Will I still be earning Xbox achievements when I play MCC on my PC? That's the big question.
Yeah,
I hope so.
Great. It is going to be that way. It's a blog post. I want to say maybe 1 or 2 months ago, I read it on the Halo Waypoint. Like, you know how they have those community posts from Sketch. I think that's who it is. Yeah,
there's like Sketch and a couple others.
I'm pretty sure it was him and a few others that all like talked about like how it's happening and what it kind of like the behind the scenes and what their thought process are and like the issues they're facing and why it hasn't actually been released in beta phase yet. Basically, they were saying that all your progression that you have now is going to transfer over no matter what. So this is why I believe it's going to be all based off the Xbox Live ecosystem and using their servers anyways. But, you know, they're also implementing daily rewards. I don't know if you knew that. They're implementing daily reward. Think Halo. You didn't play Halo Reach. Well, I think Halo 4 had daily rewards, right? Yeah. Or weekly missions or something like that. They had
little challenges. Get X number of kills in a week.
They've actually prototyped that like screenshots, like work in progress screenshots.
Mm-hmm.
It's on their posting. So I don't think anything shouldn't sync up. Like they were talking about your level, like they're adding a leveling system. It's kind of like, once again, and this is the best thing that they can do, is it's similar to a Fortnite progression system, which I advocate for Gears 5 as well, but Master Chief Collection is probably the one that will do it properly. You know, daily, weekly, monthly rewards or missions, challenges where you level up and you get unlockables at certain levels.
Mm-hmm.
I think pretty sure that's how that's going to work. And then I'm sure they're going to add new achievements because they're including Reach.
Yeah.
So I think...
because, you know, there's not already like 8,000 gamer score worth of achievements on MCC.
Do you know how many you have?
I'm around 50%. I think I think realistically it's 6,000 gamer score total, and I think I'm at like 3,100 or something.
Wow. I think I'm at like 4,000 of 6,000. That's in a game that I will actually like, you know, grind the achievements out because it's playing all the legacy games, and I'll do it again with Reach. Now, the other thing about this is I'm pretty sure they said this is that with Reach coming out, Reach will be thrown into your Game Pass, so you should be able to play Reach for free and not have to purchase it additionally. I don't remember the details on that. I don't know if you know them.
I don't really. Hold on one second here. Whoa.
Let's check. I actually was looking. My total achievements.
I'm on my Xbox. My Xbox app now. So yeah, I'm at 3110 out of 6,000.
I got you beat. I'm at 4100. So, you know, nice. 4,100. 450 achievements unlocked. That's insane.
You've also played like
a lot,
like 17 more days than I have.
Haters gonna hate, man.
Yeah. I mean, I gotta have my excuses, right?
Yeah, that's a lot of achievements for one game, which is so funny because, you know, when Xbox Live first started and they introduced achievements, it was only 1,000 gamer score max.
Oh yeah.
Which is actually funny because it's actually one of the reasons why I refuse to leave the Xbox ecosystem, because I personally enjoy my achievements that I've unlocked over time.
See, I actually prefer the PlayStation trophy system. Yeah.
Why? Why?
Because there is nothing better than getting that platinum trophy from unlocking everything. Like, yes, on the 360 anyway, there is a completed games section where it says what games you have 100% of the achievements on, but it's not a platinum trophy. And you have the little section on your profile where it lists how many of each kind of trophy you have, and it's really hype. That being said, I just go through the achievements on whatever console I play on. So,
yep. It's a good way to hook people. Certain people don't care for them, obviously. I mean, like,
yeah, a lot of people don't care. A lot of people think I'm weird that I care that much, but
my achievement hunting, although it's still where it is, like, I'll go get every achievement in, like, Halo if I can. Some of them I'm not gonna get, but you know, if I can get them, I'm gonna get them. Same with Gears, same with all the like top Microsoft Studio games, because I'm a Microsoft fanboy. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, obviously. Yeah. I mean, I like PlayStation games, but I never got hooked on the PlayStation 2, and that's where people really got hooked on, you know. But like ever since the Xbox One came out, my achievement hunting has like kind of dived. Like, I don't go as hard to get achievements like I used to, and I think that's just a part of it. Like, maybe the focus when the console came out, it was to be entertainment based, aka what it should have been, what they are now. If they were too early to the game, basically. And so they didn't have the focus on revisiting achievements and introducing new ways to make it interactive for the users. It's not, most people are like, oh, this annoying thing popped up on the screen, make a sound, go away.
Yeah. My friend Tim, when he's extremely competitive, one of the most competitive people I know, and back in like 2015, 2016 maybe, he got an Xbox One. I had my 360 and then my Xbox One. I was at like 35,000 gamer score, something like that. You know, not a crazy high number. And of course he was at 0. And he's like, you know what?
Go outside.
I'm going to beat your achievement score.
Oh, snap.
He's like, I'm going to beat your gamer score. And I'm like, whatever. No, you're not. Now, like 3 years later, I'm looking on screen right now. I'm 46,866. And he... Bear with me 1 second here.
So you went up like, what, 15,000 or so? 16,000, you said?
I think it's closer than that. He is at 43,656. So he is like 3,000 behind me.
Wow, he caught up.
Because of freaking Diablo. Because I've spent 90% of my gaming time over the past like 2.5 years on my PC playing Diablo.
Well, rightfully so. It's, you know, what you've come to love too.
Because Diablo 3 is another game that I came to late. I loved Diablo 2. I played the crap out of it.
So I see a trend here. Do you notice the trend?
I'm usually a little late to the party.
Yeah, just slightly late.
I didn't actually start playing Diablo 2 until about 2005. So, but
oh yeah, you were late. Yeah, you were
late. I was definitely late to that party as well.
That you were 6 years. You were 6 years late.
Yeah. By the time I got to Diablo 2, everybody was like, "Where's Diablo 3?"
In development, canceled.
In development, canceled.
Never to be heard of again, and then completely rejuvenated.
Hellscape London, or whatever the hell it was called.
Yeah, I don't know.
And then, but anyway, point is, I was late to the Diablo 3 party. I started Diablo 3 in November of 16, I think. So I'm like just now getting to the burnout stage where everybody else has been for 3 years, you know?
Yeah, you're at the stage where when honestly, this is something that we probably talk about here in a little bit, but you're at the stage where I was when I was streaming it back in 2017.
Mm-hmm.
I was I was doing it because I loved the game, but it didn't excite me outside of the fact that certain people I could play with at the time.
Yeah.
Because my desire for other games was not as high. Obviously, Halo 5, I didn't want to play that. Gears of War 4, I didn't even want to play that. And
Yeah.
that's because I wasn't impressed with those games. So I was like, I'll go back to the good old classic Diablo, and here we are today.
Yeah.
uh, Away from it. So, but you have done phenomenal over the last 6-7 months as growing your channel, growing the people that you talk to on Twitter, your base of fans, and your channel to grow. It was actually interesting because I actually sent you a message the other day saying, "Hey, how's your channel growth going?" Then you posted the video 3 days ago.
Yeah, and then I posted that video like I think it was like the day after you sent that DM.
It was
but I
literally
didn't
the day
see that
after.
DM until long after I had posted the video.
Yeah, and I was like, so I read his mind.
Yeah, exactly.
But I mean, like, you done phenomenal work. I mean, like, this
channel growth is weird because
mm-hmm.
my biggest month ever was
last month, right? May, right?
Well, yeah, it was. But before May of 2019, my biggest month ever was September of 2018. August into September of 2018 was the start of season 16, I think. I think it was start of 16. And I was like, all right, I'm going to hit it hard. I'm going to grind. And then September of 18 was my biggest month ever. I had like 30,000 minutes of watch time, like 15,000 views or some crap. I thought it would never get any better than that. And then I started having computer problems, internet problems.
Yep.
My wife's computer crapped out. My dad passed away. I quit my job. I moved.
Yeah,
and then
well,
it's like
going through life changes then,
Yeah, and then in April of this year, I finally got back on. Because I would post 1 or 2 videos a month for like 6 months there, and then in April I started posting a little more frequently. I think I did like 15 videos in April and like 20 something in May. And the video that actually caused all this growth is a video that I posted in September of last year. Because
I saw that.
Because it had done like 8,000 or 9,000 views, but it had such a high like to dislike ratio, that for whatever reason, at the start of this season, the YouTube algorithm was like, "Hey, we're gonna push that."
Yeah,
and now that video has like 30K.
Yeah, it has 30K. I'm literally looking at your videos that you. And so 8 months ago takes you back to what, October-ish? So that kind of like that September timeline you're talking about.
Yeah.
If you think about it, I mean, look what you're doing now and what you were doing then. Now we're getting into like YouTube growth channel, like how to kind of grow is obviously consistency. You were super consistent there for, at least 2 months, which YouTube likes.
Mm-hmm.
And now you're doing it again.
So like right now I'm just trying to stay consistent with, and I'm trying to get the podcast going just because I think it's fun. I love podcasts. But because I know how, I have a vague understanding of how YouTube works, I'm also going to try and get 3 or 4 more people to do a podcast with me, so that way we can start posting a weekly podcast. Because once it's weekly, then it's just part of the schedule. People know to be expecting it, and it gets more consistent,
Yeah, and this has been a lot of fun. I've toyed around with thoughts like this before in the past, but you just gotta know the right people that will be willing to take the time out of their schedule to do it. You know,
Mm-hmm.
it is a commitment. I mean, look how long it took us to get here. It took us
Yeah.
almost 2 years to get to this point, but our timelines were so jacked up because you know I went through a change early, starting in 17. It probably took me. I mean, I was without a computer for almost a year, not by
Mm-hmm.
choice, but because like we had to find a way to live in one room together with other family members
Mm-hmm.
to
It's hard
get
to
to.
create content when you're
It's
living
impossible.
in a
It's
basement
impossible.
with, with a bunch of other people.
It's absolutely impossible to do that. And if you can do that, I applaud you, and I want to know what you did and how you did it. But for me, I always had issues like, oh, the room's too hot, or oh, I'm gonna wake her up, or you know, I can't be my normal self, and I can't be talkative. So if you want to talk to me, it's got to be voice chat, which then at that, or you know, text chat, and at that point, no one cares.
Mm-hmm.
So, uh, you know, and then you had your stuff happen, unfortunate news and everything
Mm-hmm.
like that a few months ago, which took me by surprise because I was like, where'd he go? I don't know what's going on.
Yeah.
You know, and so you lose those people, but at least it's good that we've been able to, you know, reconnect over the last few months, especially the last few weeks, but over the last few months and kind of, you know, let each other know like, hey man, I'm good now. Let's take some time and let's figure out when we can do this.
Yeah. Yeah. I was really excited to see you get your new channel going, and I mean, it seems like it's going pretty well for you so far.
Well, you know, it's I can hear honestly, I said, you know what, I just want to do it. There's a few reasons why. It's not just because I love Gears of War, because I don't really think my channel is going to be focused on just Gears 5 in the future. When I actually I think I talked to this maybe mentioned this in Twitter DMs at one point, is that I was actually thinking about making the channel about technology.
Mm-hmm.
Like just I have a very like in-depth smart home. Like if you actually like if I was to open up and turn this camera right now, look, see my Philips Hue lights that are outside in my landscaping, you know, that I can control from my phone, or the home pod, or
Damn, in the landscaping.
oh
That's
yeah,
next
like
level.
yeah, they're not your like they're Philips Hues that they're designed for landscaping. And then I
Mm-hmm.
have a it's a Robo Rock room, sorry, not a Robo Rock room, but it's a Robo Rock S5, which is a smart vacuum. Um, and I actually have two of them. So I was like, you know what, this would be a good way to, you know, maybe get into technology, talk about the, you know, the lights and the issues, because there's not a lot of documentation on them on
Mm-hmm.
YouTube or anywhere at all, because they've only been out for a year. Um, and then like the Robo Rock, you know, it's a smart vacuum. It was like, when I think smart vacuum, like that thing is going to be trash, you know, but it's actually like, we don't have to vacuum our floors
Yeah.
like ever, because it's actually stronger than our Dyson. And so when I was getting back into thinking about getting into YouTube, it's because I have a passion to do what I used to do, which is make videos or stream a video game and whatever. But I was like, you know, I'm getting older. Maybe it's not video games. Maybe it's technology. But then I was like, you know what? I can't fake that, because my passion's not my passion's technology, but my love is video games. So
Yeah.
it's completely different. And then I was like, you know what? Gears 5's coming out. Let me start, and then eventually Halo Infinite, and I'll be playing that. And what comes of it comes of it. If I get if it blows up and I can even do what you're doing, I'll be thrilled. If it doesn't happen, you know, I learned how to challenge myself. I learned how to make a few more different things. I learned how to use a video editing program a little bit better than before. I
Mm-hmm.
learned how to try to, like, you know, do some marketing pieces, which is valuable for anything else you want to do in life. If you try this, whether it's for your job or looking for a new job, you can at least say, hey, here's what I've done. I have this in my, you know, my toolkit.
Yeah.
So that's kind of my thought process on it. Is I don't expect anything to come of it, but it's going okay. I mean, you know, I put a lot. I'm actually probably focusing more on this than my actual job, but who cares? I mean, I've been focusing only on a few social media outlets, and just trying to figure out, you know, what works, what doesn't work, and what people like, what I like, and get feedback. So if it wasn't for your success, I probably wouldn't be back doing it. Honestly, like when I said like you were my inspiration, it was like truly like you were my inspiration to get back into it, because I truly like lost my drive on it.
Yeah.
But I did, like, you know,
and seeing all my annoying tweets like, "Hey, go watch this video."
No, actually, I don't. It's like I know who you are. I'll watch it as much as I can and when I can, and I was just like, you know what? There's no reason not to go back into it. I was like, I know plenty of people that I've talked to through stream and Twitch and back in the day that if I wanted to, that they would be advocates and back me up and support me to say, go do it. So here I am.
Yeah.
And of course, you know, when you get your case, your wife, my case, the girlfriend, you know, if they got your back, then there's no reason not to challenge yourself and try to do it.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's fun, but it is a job within itself.
Yeah.
It's not instant night over success. There's a lot of learning and a lot of secrets and a lot of stuff that you're never going to know.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, my main goal for YouTube at this point is not to make money. It's not to get, you know, millions of views. It's to create a fun podcast that I would want to listen to. Like, honestly, that's it. And the part of why I continue to post Diablo videos, yeah, they get the most views of, you know, what I've found on this channel so far. But it's a fun game, and the fact is, the more views you get, the more likely you are to get other people on the podcast. So
absolutely. I mean, you met me through through Diablo, and I'm back to my Microsoft roots for now. But you know, I can promise you, when Diablo 4 finally gets announced officially, and they say, oh, beta's dropping today, you can count on it. Install immediately. Let's go. You know, there's not going to be a delay on that. So I absolutely agree. But the problem is there's so much competition out there, and finding people that truly enjoy what you enjoy and have that same passion and energy is so hard to find, because everybody's different.
Yeah. Well,
I think you can do it.
Well, we've gotten way off track from what we intended to talk about, but let's kind of reel it back in. There's a couple more things I definitely want to talk about before we end this. Let's backtrack a little bit to achievements.
Okay,
because I think I already know the answer to this, but I gotta know. So, what is the achievement you're most proud of? It's going to be one of the seriously achievements, isn't it?
Yeah. I'll reverse this for a second. What game do you think it's going to be? Just make sure.
I'm guessing it's going to be one of the Gears games.
It's definitely the Gears of War games.
Because my understanding is you have all the achievements on the Gears games, right?
Every game but Gears of War Judgment, and I'm missing a few in Gears of War 4, but I'll probably have those completed by 5.
So it's going to be one of the seriously achievements.
Yeah. Before I answer this, I'm curious if this is actually out there. I'm going to do a quick Google search for like hardest achievements, Xbox achievement or something, just kind of see what's out there on this. I think it might actually be in the list, like an IGN list or something. It is. It actually is. It's like the #1 clicked, like IGN. It's titled the 11 hardest achievements in video games. All right. So that achievement is Seriously 3.0 in Gears of War 3. That achievement requires some of the most brain cell destroying stuff you'll ever want to do. So the reason for Seriously 3.0, and then they have a 4.0, and I'm sure they're definitely going to have a 5.0, is the progression of it. And Seriously 1.0, or Seriously from Gears of War 1, was just get 10,000 kills in multiplayer. And then in Gears of War 2, it was get 100,000 kills in all campaign, horde, and versus multiplayer. But then in Gears of War 3, they said you got to get like 10,000 kills in multiplayer, get all these medals, get all these ribbons, like a certain amount of times, like 500 MVP medals, win 3,000 matches, complete 6,000 matches, get a 6,000 kills with this weapon, this weapon, this weapon, get first blood, get a double kill ribbon 100 million times. You know, like it was a grind, dude. It was a grind. I left my Xbox 360 on for nights on end with a specific controller to act like I was still playing so it wouldn't shut down, trying to get it. Not a lot of people have that achievement. I would, if I was to look on the Xbox app, it would tell me the percentage, but I'm telling you that is the worst achievement, but the most proud achievement I have, because not a lot of people have that achievement. So I think I'm actually looking at it. Out of all the Xbox Live gamers, only 0.44% of gamers unlocked it.
Yeah.
So not even 1% of Xbox, not even 0.5% of Xbox Live gamers have that achievement.
Yeah.
So that's my most proud achievement.
Now, about that, is it 0.5% of Xbox players, or is it 0.5% of players of that game? I always thought it was of that specific game.
You know, that's actually a good question. I thought it was supposed to be of, well, I don't know what their algorithm is. Either way, Gears of War has about a 6 million, 7 million player base over the history, at least. And so I'll take my less than 0.5% all day long in a franchise I love. So I'll take that. It's like if you complete Master Chief Collection, you're going to be thrilled.
Yeah. God, can you imagine completing Master Chief Collection?
It's a lot of achievements.
That's
so yeah,
absurd.
It's a lot of achievements.
Yeah. I don't even know what my proudest would be. The one that I have tagged on my Xbox profile, which, by the way, in the video here, you see me looking over to my right. It's because I'm looking at my Xbox app on my computer.
Yeah, that's what I've been doing. Every time I like cheat, and I'm like, what's over here again? what's on this screen? What's the percentage? What's the
achievement that I have pinned to my Xbox One profile is Lone Wolf, which is for completing Halo 5 Legendary solo.
Yeah, that achievement sucks because of the wardens.
Yeah. The wardens, actually, I didn't even fight them on the mission, the breaking. I didn't even fight them. I skipped them. Because, see, that's how I did that achievement, or the achievements for Halo 5 Legendary, is by watching speedrunners. Because I'm not good enough to actually fight everything on Legendary, so I just watch speedrunners and see how they do stuff. And that's how I did the mission, The Breaking, where you have to fight the 5 Warden Eternals. Basically, you can hit a grav lift and skip the entire fight.
You know, it's actually funny. I'm not going to lie to you. I unlocked that achievement almost a year, we're a month away, and I unlocked it 7/16/2018. Lone Wolf. 2% of gamers have it unlocked.
Yeah.
That was a hard achievement. I got, oh my god, dude, that game made me mad. I grinded it at some point and unlocked it.
Yeah.
But I would like to go back and play more Halo 5, and I don't want to get off topic, but the issue with that game to me is it's too much like Forge assets, and I don't like that. It's not like, it's too bland, it's too grayscale or whatever.
Yeah, I don't know. It's such a beautiful game, like
multiplayer wise, I should say, not the actual game itself.
But yeah, like so many of the multiplayer maps they ended up using Forge maps for, because they felt their maps weren't good enough. So it's gotten to a point where it's almost all Forge. It's just like Halo Reach, where if you get into a Halo Reach match, you're going to be playing a Forge map.
Yep, yep, yep. And that's actually they're trying to incorporate that into the new Master Chief updates. I've heard, trying to incorporate the newer stuff.
Yeah.
Trying to newer stuff, meaning Forge maps, into actual public multiplayer, that's fine, but I'm not a big fan of that. But that's just me. Yeah. I'm old, I guess, set in my ways.
I don't know. I'm not a huge fan of Forge maps in general. Like, they're fun once in a while, but when every map you play is a Forge map, it gets kind of old.
It would be really fun for someone like you, for your your store, and having your LAN parties and say, hey guys, we made this map, it's a pain in the ass, come play it.
Yeah, exactly.
that would be where it's probably, in my opinion, the most applicable, but that's just me.
Yeah. I'm trying to think if there's any other achievements I'm particularly proud of. I don't think there are. But
your YouTube success.
What?
Your YouTube success. You're proud of that. That's an achievement.
Yeah, totally. Anyway, what achievements are you currently working on? Or what game achievements are you working on?
So right now I'm just focused on Gears of War 4, trying to wrap up Seriously 4.0, which is actually a grind in itself too, but I think I should probably be able to handle that. The issue I'm running into now is I'm just like, I want to make content and not actually play, and I should play. So one of the newer videos I posted is there's new challenges that are being released in Gears of War, and it's stuff that you can, unlockables that you can carry into the new game, into Gears 5, so you can play with them in Gears of War 4, but you can actually transfer them over to Gears 5, which is fun. I think that's what they should have been. That's what they should do to promote the game now. So, because it's in maintenance mode, just like Diablo for you. So find a way to incentivize players to want to play the game, right? So I'm working on those. You have to get a certain amount of kills in multiplayer, a certain amount of kills in Horde, and whatnot, and then wrap up those achievements as we get prepared. Because September is just a few months away when the game launches. But if I finish that up, I'm going to go back and work a little bit on the Halo Master Chief Collection. I'm missing a few achievements where, like, you have to, like in Halo 3, you have to like jump off a ledge and go see the naked man. I don't know if you know that achievement, but the only way to do it is if you have two people, or use like a grenade bounce, or grenade jump, I should say. But it's kind of hard to do that because you don't get enough leap sometimes, and then you have to restart the mission. Lasso achievements. I don't know if you focus on.
I don't do lasso.
I would be interested in doing it
at the game to do lasso.
I'm not either, but it would be a good challenge. It would be a good content. You could actually. There you go. I just gave you a video idea.
Just the two of us co-op streaming lasso.
Yeah. Lasso. We all die multiple times and rage hard. No checkpoints. Yeah.
Oh God, that just sounds like a bad time. That would be the equivalent of me playing like Dark Souls.
Yeah. That's exactly what it is. So yeah, I think that's what you should do. Ask your viewership. Would you like to see me play Halo, Lasso, and jump off a bridge and be unfortunate and be sad and cry a lot? Do you want to see me cry on YouTube? here's how I do that. I play this game.
No, I don't know about all that. I know that you need to carry me through Gears 1, 2, 3, Judgment, and 4 at some point.
There's a fun fact about that. You could play that with your wife if you wanted to. And you could play on the hardest difficulty, and she could play on the casual, and you could get all the harder achievements on your account. Even though because the people that you shoot will be on like hardcore or whatever the highest difficulty is for each game. And then if she's on casual, anything that she kills will be casual. So it's like instant death for her. Yours is almost instant death for you. You get what I'm saying? Like So it's a way to like mop up campaign achievements without, really going through the struggle bus. The only thing that you would have to do is just like look up a guide for collectibles.
Right.
So
Which
it's actually
which
easy.
I actually was doing the other day uh at my store in the game area that we have set up. I was playing Gears on my Xbox with me playing as player 2 so that I was getting the Dominic Santiago achievements.
Oh yeah, yeah. I know
Bro,
exactly.
I was into it. I was getting it done,
Yep.
and I was walking through it with a guide for the cog tags,
Yep. Yep.
and then the first system crashed. And so I'm like,
Ah.
no, I'm done. Because, like, a while back, I had played through. I have the achievements for having completed, I think, the first 3 acts on hardcore.
hmm Oh yeah, and you gotta play. Are you talking Gears 1?
Gears 1, yeah. Yeah, I
You
completed
know
the
what
first
sucks?
3 acts on
Yeah.
hardcore. I rage quit in the 4th act and played it on casual, but I have not done the 5th act. I've not
Yeah.
played the 5th act at all.
The fifth act is fun. The issue that you're gonna run into is you have to play it on hardcore to unlock insane. Then you have to go
Mm-hmm.
play it back on insane.
Yeah.
That's what sucks.
I think I'm okay with not getting the insane achievements,
It's the
but
only way.
I think you should probably carry me
I've done that many
through
times.
hardcore.
Yeah, I've done that many, many times. I could definitely help you out sometime.
Yeah, we'll have to do that before Gears 5 drops.
Yeah, I got so much on my plate. So, it's actually something prompted a quick discussion. I was like, oh, there's your new video content. So I want to actually ask you a question. Do you pre-plan your content in advance? Like, do you know, like, next week on Tuesday, I'm going to do this? Or do you go, here's what I'm doing, here's what I think would be cool, and let's play around with it and drop it?
Depends. Uh, like for instance, I know this coming Saturday
Well, that, yeah, yeah.
is the final day that I'll be able to play of the solo self found season, which is only the first month of the season, basically. Uh, the solo self found season actually ends on Sunday, which is Father's Day, and I'm not gonna play that day. I'm gonna be, off by myself crying somewhere. Um,
Yeah, I understand.
and and so I'm gonna do a big stream Saturday night, and and that's gonna be my big pushing night. I'm gonna take, you know, I've cleared I've cleared a 100 solo with Demon Hunter. I'm gonna try and get up to 110. I'm still working on final augments and stuff. And so I'll probably post, 7, 8, 9 videos over the next few days showing my final pushes. So
Yeah, that's
that
good.
is sort of planned. And then I'll do like a little wrap up. I'll talk about the leaderboards for solo self found. But generally, no, I don't really plan things out. I, if I have something specific that comes into my head, like today, I released a video on the set bonuses that need to be changed.
Yep.
I thought of that yesterday morning, and I came home. I actually wrote a script, which I very rarely do, and I recorded it. And then, but like most of my content at this point is kind of spontaneous stuff. It's vlogs, it's this podcast, it's random riffs that I've run. Then there's some stuff like goals videos or stuff wrapping up like the Halo LAN,
Little tidbits every now and then of something different.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. That's interesting. I'm actually writing a script right now too. I think for me, what bothers me the most is like I have an idea in my head of what I want to do, but when it's time to like I could sit here and talk to you all day about all this stuff, no problem, and I can pretty much convey my message without any mess ups. But then it's like the minute I start my own recording, if I don't have something that I have laid out that would be something I would say,
Mm-hmm.
I'm like stuttering on my words and taking pauses. I'm like, what am I doing? Like I know what I'm trying to say, and I can't convey it. So it's like I have to script it out, and it's good information to kind of see the different methodologies, what you do and what I do, and how
Yeah.
it works and ties in, and there's plenty of things that it's so hard.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
so
see,
hard.
if I'm doing like a build guide or something where I need to convey a specific message, instead of scripting it, what I'll do is I'll get everything set up. I'll have specific talking points like, all right, I'm gonna talk about my Paragon. I'm gonna talk about what gems I'm using, what gear,
Mm-hmm.
all that, and
Mm-hmm.
all that's pretty straightforward to the point that I don't even have to write it out. Like I just know in my head, okay, I got to talk about this, 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 and this, and then when I'm talking, if I go um, I make a note in my head that I'm gonna have to cut that out. And so then
Yeah.
I take a little pause so that in the audio clip when I'm
Mm-hmm.
editing, I can see, okay, there was a pause after that, so there's something I need to cut out.
Yeah. I finished my sentence, and I'm pausing now so I can go back and edit that out, and then I said the word again
Yeah.
or whatever. Yeah. Yeah. That's the hardest part about making like a scripted or a just a video in general, because if you do a bunch of that, sounds like you're not very like on top of what you're doing. You don't know what you're
Yeah.
doing.
Yeah, see, I used to not screw with it. I used to not really care. I would just kind of post a lot of raw footage and if I'm posting like a rift or something, chances are I'm going to just post the stream highlight or whatever unedited. But I've gotten to where I'm trying to be a little more on top of it. I'm trying to do thumbnails with every video. I'm trying to
Yep.
uh
Yep.
trying to edit out some of the ums and yas.
So it's a lot of work, and then it's like, dang, I wish I would have done that better. Yeah, it's good discussion. It's interesting to hear that we have the same issue in the end.
Yeah.
uh, so I
I
think,
guess I guess we just both need to get better at talking.
and it's like we can both talk, but it's script, and knowing that this is your one shot, and you're just talking to yourself in a camera. That's hard. That's actually really flipping hard.
Yeah.
So that actually I think brings up a question you were going to ask, but it hasn't been asked yet.
Yeah. Yeah. I think we'll probably end out on this. We've been going for an hour and 33 minutes, according to my recording. So, we'll wrap it up. I got to get to bed. I got to work tomorrow.
Same here. It's going to be 5:00 a.m. is going to be very quickly.
That's disgusting. I would have canceled. If it was me,
Yeah.
I would have been like, "Nah, man, it's not happening. Sorry."
Nope. I committed. I'm not backing off. So here we are. So yeah, I'll let you
Yeah.
I'll let
So,
you get into it.
so like we've talked about a couple of times, when we met, you were streaming, and at that time, to my knowledge, you were pretty much only streaming. Do you see yourself ever going back to that, or are you going to be sticking mostly with YouTube?
I think that's dependent on a few factors. If I go back to streaming, the issue that I had with streaming, and I had this issue back then too, was streaming is fun, but streaming is to be done with other people that that have interests, or that you play with, and whatever else. And I think I would only go back to streaming if if my YouTube and Twitter followers and everybody else that I've talked to on a daily basis or communicate occasionally with said, you know what, if you did it, I would back you and I would watch. And the only reason I say that is because then it's a more personal event and it's me with them. And then if anybody else wants to attend and watch, that'd be fun. But the other thing is the time commitment with streaming is if I don't do it at that certain time and I cancel it, then it's like, people don't want to watch or they don't know when you're truly going to be on. And my schedule is a little unpredictable. I know when I'm usually going to be on right now, starting at 11 o'clock. And then I'm on maybe until 1:30, 2 o'clock at the latest, is pushing it during the weekday. Now, weekend, I'll go as long as I can, unless I have plans. So I think the short-term goal is YouTube and YouTube only, with Twitter being my community focused side of the of it all. I don't know if Twitch is for me at this stage in my life, because I don't have the time to hop on and stream for hours on end, and or stream for a few hours and have a lot of energy. I mean, I've already been up for almost 24 hours by that point, so my energy level is at a zero. It's like running on fumes, and that's the issue I had with back when I streamed when you met me. I was tired. I mean, I would be yawning and I would lose interest. So YouTube has actually been more fun because it's challenging me in different ways. But it's a business plan, right? It's kind of like a business plan. You have to think of it as a business. Even though it's for fun, it's like a business because you want your videos to be seen. You'd be lying if you didn't. And you have to be consistent. I could be consistent with YouTube. I can pre-record things and have things kind of ready to go, or bulk record at a certain time. But I can't. And the other reason I probably won't do any live streaming anytime soon is because I need a capture card again. And it's not that I can't afford it. It's just I don't know if I need one today because I'm not going to be streaming tomorrow, and I only really play Xbox games at this point. If I wanted to play Diablo, I could stream Diablo, but I'm not playing Diablo like you. so I think
so no Diablo comeback.
I think a Diablo comeback will be in place. Diablo will happen. It's just I need Diablo 4 to be announced and something to say, come play Diablo 3.
Yeah.
But right now, my focus is I know Diablo 4 is not coming out for probably another at least 2 years, in my opinion. There's no way it's coming out next year.
I don't think it's coming until maybe 2022.
Yeah.
Maybe.
So there will be a comeback at some point. It's just when. And it's not going to be in the immediate future because I'm focused on other games that I love and have the same passion for. So yeah, I think that's like the long-winded answers.
Yeah.
Eventually, maybe, but no, YouTube is a lot of fun. I think because it's on my schedule, and my schedule is hard, but I can make my schedule fit around other people. So yeah. I think,
and see, it's funny because it sounds exactly like what I think in my head. Like, streaming is a 3-hour time commitment, a 2 to 3 hour time commitment, a few days a week, where that's a set time. You have to dedicate that 2-3 hours with nothing else getting in your way. I can record I can record a background rift with no audio when my wife is, if my wife is watching a show on her setup, and I'm kind of listening with her, I can record a rift with no background noise, turn off my mic and just record the desktop audio. And then 3 hours later, I can talk about, my goals for the day or, what happened this week, why I didn't record or whatever. And then a day and a half later, I can edit those together and post them online. And now I have a video that's taken, 30 minutes to record, 30 minutes to record, edit, and post across 3 days, as opposed to a 2.5, 3 hour time block all at once.
And it's not only all at once on one day, it's multiple days. So it's really like 10 to 15, 20 hours a week.
Yeah. And I mean, in my opinion, if there's any, aspiring content creators out there that just happen to be watching this, the way to succeed on YouTube and Twitter is daily uploads on YouTube, stream 5 to 6 days a week.
Yeah.
That's it. If you do that, you will be successful. It may take you a while, but it'll happen. Because people that are grinding that hard are going to get noticed.
Yeah, because YouTube's going to notice and Twitter's going to notice, and they're going to feed you in because that's what they need.
I've tried so hard daily uploads. I've tried it several different times. I always get, a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks down the road, and then I fall off because suddenly all that pre-recorded content I had is used up, and I don't have the time to continue to put that much effort into it,
It's extremely, extremely hard to do that.
So, I basically save my daily uploads for right at the beginning of Diablo season, because that's when 99% of the views for a Diablo channel are going to happen. Mm-hmm. So, you hit that, you get that end of season announcement at the end of a Diablo season, and then you're like, all right, it's go time. Now we got to get 7 starter guides, a best start to the season video, what's the fastest class to Torment 16 video, what's the overall best class for the season, what are my plans for the season, what are my plans for opening night, so you have 2.5 weeks of daily content right at the beginning of the season, but then after that it kind of goes away.
Yeah, because you have so much progression.
Yeah.
You got a lot leading up to it. Like right now is a great time for me. I have a lot of content, a lot of ideas in my head. It's just I gotta sit down, think them through, and get ready to go for Gears 5 launch. And luckily, I get new content almost every day, and I'll have new content from all the different releases that they're doing. So it's gonna be easy able to do that. Whereas you're playing a game that's in maintenance mode, and everybody knows what they know, but it's still got a lot of people playing it, so there's no downfall there. And learning how to make things catchy and entertaining and not be too long, and that's the hard part, honestly.
Bro, my old build guides were 25, 30 minutes. And now when I do a build guide, it's 7 minutes, done.
Yeah,
it's and you just learn what the important information is, and you learn how to put it in a concise manner.
Well, I think what happens, and this is similar to some of my first video I did was 11 minutes long, and I was like, it's actually my most viewed video, surprisingly. But I think sometimes too much detail and too much attention to something like that causes issues. It causes retention issues for you to grow. And so I think a 5-minute to 15-minute video is actually the ideal length of a video, but it's also what's in the video that truly matters. What's your content? And a lot of people that are getting started don't really know or care. I mean, you don't know what you don't know until you start doing it and you start learning.
Yeah.
Here's what's effective. Here's what makes sense. And so you have to rely on analytics or what you enjoy watching other people do and trying to take a style and make it your own.
Yeah.
It's super hard. So, yeah, I hear you. Planning content is something I don't do either, but
yeah,
I don't have a lot of content planned. I'm like, you know what? this pissed me off. Let me see about this.
Exactly. Like, hey, somebody said something stupid. I'm gonna make a video about it and explain why they're stupid.
I'm gonna explain why they're wrong or why off base.
Yeah.
So.
Well, so last question. I'm actually on my YouTube analytics page on my third monitor over here, and I gotta know. This may be the most important question of the podcast. Do you use classic YouTube Studio or the new one?
Both. I like the new one a little bit, but I think the classic one has a lot more detail because it's not in beta. But most of the time, anytime I look at like my dashboard or anything like that, it always defaults without me even ever selecting it to go to YouTube, the studio beta.
And see, that's disgusting. There's an option that I clicked that said use classic. You have to go into your YouTube settings. I do not like the new setup. I don't like that you can't get end cards, or if you can, I don't know how to find them.
No, you can.
I don't know how to find them on the studio.
Like to do like your recommended videos or whatever. Yeah. It's actually really simple. I'll give you that trick later.
Yeah, absolutely.
But yeah, I think a lot of people say that probably the classic version is the better version, but I think eventually they're gonna say screw off and force you one way. Well, here's what makes me mad is I can't get a custom URL yet.
Yeah, you have to have like 100 subs before you can get the custom URL.
I got a long ways to go.
Bro, you say that though.
Yeah.
You're at 10 subs. Like, I literally was just looking at your stuff. You're at 10 subs, but every one of your videos has over 40 views. Do you know when I got to a point on my channel when I was getting 40 views a video? It was like a month ago. So,
I think... Well,
take that for what you will.
I'll say this. There's other stuff I'll share, but I could go on this stuff for too long, and we're running a little longer than we were hoping. But yeah, it's how much. And I'm not saying you. I'm not saying what you have done is wrong. I'm just saying in general, like this is everything you do. Like we said, you learn what went right and what went wrong with everything you do in your life, right? You learn from how to improve on it and make it more efficient, make it better, make it easier for you. But it's also how much time you put into trying to learn what you're trying to do.
Yeah.
Honestly, another reason I got started was because I found that an issue that people would upload these videos, but they weren't American, so you couldn't understand what they were trying to convey unless you put like closed captioning on and try to translate it, and that's not always a good idea. And so I was like, you know what, let me try my own spin on it, and just posting on Twitter and trying to hashtag things. But you can't just hashtag the hashtag. Like you have to like know what you're trying to aim for. It's like super delicate because of one wrong thing and it's over. Like you wasted your time. Like
I have not mastered hashtags and stuff yet.
My most recent video that I uploaded that has 56 views right now, I have not really promoted that. The other 4 videos I promoted on Reddit and through Twitter pretty heavily.
Yeah.
But the most recent one, I was like, you know what? I'm going to try something different. I'm not going to do it. Let me just see what happens. And it's actually, in a few more views, it will overtake and be my second viewed video.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that it's the right method for me, but I was like, let me just try something different. So it's like, it's always changing. It's always changing. It's so unique, and hashtags are hard, and engagements are hard.
YouTube tags are hard.
YouTube tags are hard. Getting people to comment is hard because all that stuff filters into a algorithm that determines if your video is going to be viewed or not. Or recommended, I should say.
Yeah.
So yeah, absolutely.
Maybe the
rough
next podcast we do will be, you know, how to get noticed as a small YouTuber or something, because clearly we both have a lot of opinions on it.
Yeah, it's different methodologies, right? I mean, you have a way of doing things because you're able to upload honestly a little bit more frequently than me, and that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that because that's beneficial to your channel growth, right?
Yeah.
People know Prime Time's gonna have a video coming out. When is it? It's gonna be tomorrow sometime. It's gonna be 2 days from now. When is it? Whereas I'm like, I'll get to it every 2 or 3 days.
Yeah.
It's just I gotta sit down and plan and be like super delicate with mine because I don't know what I'm wanting to do. Everything that I'm getting is so it's like you already have a pre-established game that's been developed and you know what's out there, what you like, what you don't see, what's changing on a monthly basis or every few months when they release a new content update or season.
Yeah.
Whereas like Gears of War, which is my focus now, is no one knows anything.
Yeah.
It's just here's what you know and everybody else knows it, but not there's still millions of people that don't know jack about it. So
and it's actually like, sorry to cut you off, but it's actually weird how little we know about Gears 5 as close to release as it is.
Oh yeah.
Like,
yeah,
that's a little weird because normally
it's a different approach.
Yeah,
this time around again.
Like normally, for a game that releases September,
2 months,
you would be seeing at least a multiplayer gameplay, something, a campaign mission, half walkthrough, something.
Well,
E3.
That was a big issue. People said, "Why'd you do freaking Escape and not show campaign?" What? I agree, but Escape is fun to look at. So I don't have a degree in marketing.
Yeah.
I'm sure they have someone that knows what they're doing.
Yeah.
There's a reason for it. That's what I keep saying. So I'll let the person with the marketing degree and years of experience is going to trump me any day of the week. So I'm sure they know what they're doing and why they're doing it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that would be a cool idea to a condensed video or something like that.
Yeah.
That'd be fun.
Well,
one day.
I think that is plenty talking for one night. This has been over an hour and 50 minutes at this point. We intended to go for an hour. So, and honestly, we only got through like half the questions. So
yeah, we're catching up. I mean, next time it'll be more efficient with time. We'll do better.
Yeah, of course. So well, so ladies and gentlemen, that's going to do it for today's video. Thank you very much, Matt, Neon Velocity, Dream Oath, many names, the man of many names.
Way past that.
Yeah.
Moved on.
You're just Matt to me. So
I'm just Matt.
Yeah. So thank you very much for taking this time out of your day to come and bullshit with me for a couple hours. I really do appreciate it, and I'm really looking forward to seeing how everyone else views, or like, I don't know. It's 2 a.m. I'm tired. I'm excited to see what people think, Yeah,
I mean, and you can get a few more people and wrap everybody in. It'll be a good time, and there's other avenues for podcasts too, so maybe go iTunes or something like that with it. I think you got a good solid foundation, and you got to start somewhere, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So yeah, it's been a pleasure, and thank you for working with me and being patient with me for almost 2 years. Yeah. It was a lot of fun. It was good to catch up in general since we haven't had a lot of that time. A lot of our messages have been just through Twitter. So
yeah, absolutely. Honestly, I think this might be the first time we've ever talked voice to voice. You've tuned into a lot of my streams. I've tuned into a lot of your streams.
Yeah, you're actually right. I don't think we've ever communicated voice to voice ever, even on Discord.
Yeah,
before
it's crazy.
For this time, yeah. So and look how natural and seamless it was, really.
Yeah.
So, just shows you.
So, well, so that's going to do it for today. Ladies and gentlemen, this is why we play.